Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with miniature masterpieces. And today we're going to talk about John Cage, his Sonatas and Interludes for Prepared Piano. I've been wanting to talk about this music for a long time because I adore this piece. It's really, in my opinion, Cage's musical masterpiece. I mean, for something that he actually wrote down in a normal notation, more or less kind of way. The sonatas and interludes are fantastic. They really are. And I've got two recordings of them here. They've actually been recorded quite a few times, which is kind of surprising. Maybe half a dozen or more, which, I mean, what could you expect? I'm very, very pleasantly surprised. But the two best, I think, that are easily available are Boris Berman on Naxos and Aleck Karis on Bridge. And both of them have certain special features. Boris Berman's is part of a 2-disc set. Here's disc 2. You like the way I did that? Of all of John Cage's music for prepared piano. And there's quite a bit of it. And then the Bridge has, on disc B, John Cage reads Composition in Retrospect. 23 minutes of John Cage talking about himself. Yes, which seemed to be something he was quite good at. And the sound on these is wonderful. The performance is wonderful. And the music is wonderful. Believe it or not, it really is. Now, what is a prepared piano? In case you didn't know. A prepared piano is a piano in which you do things to the strings. You attach screws and nuts and bolts and pencil erasers and rubber things and door stops and all this stuff in and around and on top of the strings to change the sound of the piano, to imitate an entire ensemble of strange instruments, mostly percussion instruments. It's obviously inspired by, Balinese music, gamelan music, and Cage came up with the idea when he was commissioned to write some works, some dance pieces primarily, in which all he had was a piano, and he couldn't get a percussion ensemble together, and so he created his own out of a piano, and it really, really sounds marvelous. I mean, some of this stuff had been done earlier by Henry Cowell and people like that who were attacking the insides of the piano, but Cage really exploited the instrument, and he wrote these sonatas and interludes in 1946 through 48, and there are, let me get this straight here, there are 16 sonatas, and 4 interludes interspersed within them. And the sonatas have actually very simple form. Most of them are like Scarlatti sonatas. They're in 2 halves, A, A, B, B, both halves repeated. Very, very simple forms. Not all of them are that way, but a lot of them are. And I just have here in the booklet so you can see. It's really quite fun to look at. The table of preparations that comes with the score. Here it is. Have a look at that. That tells you exactly what you're supposed to stick into your piano and where you're supposed to stick it. Now, most of these pieces are quite short. Only one of them actually is less than 2 minutes long, which means it's the only one that fits into our criteria for a miniature masterpiece. But none of them are longer than, I think the longest here is 6 minutes and 18 seconds. And most of them are between 2.5 and 4 minutes, somewhere in there. And they are fascinating. Fascinating to listen to. Some of them are tonal, some of them are. I mean, the style is completely free in that sense. It's Cage, after all. And I have a sample that we can listen to, which is Sonata number 5, which is 1 minute and 50 seconds long. And it's one of the more sort of dance-like, primal, tribal drumming type ones, which means it's lots of fun. Cage himself divided them into sort of Eastern and Western, depending on what the influences were, and some of them mixed them up. It's all just great fun. So here is Boris Berman on Naxos performing John Cage's Sonata number 5, and it's just a miniature masterpiece. Here it is. Isn't that just wonderfully imaginative and cool to listen to? It's great stuff, absolutely great stuff. So I really hope that, although Cage has, a reputation as being sort of crazy, and he was, and very avant-garde, and he was, he actually did compose music, and he composed some very fine music, in addition to 4 minutes and 33 seconds, which of course was given its definitive performance by my cat, Peepo, on Tinnitus Classics. You can see that performance in this video. It was one of her very rare video appearances. But beyond that, if you're going to listen to just some John Cage, start with this work, the Sonatas and Interludes for Prepared Piano. And if you like what you hear, you can go to Volume 2 on Naxos if you get Boris Berman. You can get the Aleck Karis recording on Bridge if you're just interested in the Sonatas and Interludes and in hearing what Cage himself has to say about some things. It's all just great fun. Wonderful fun and fascinating and enjoyable music. And I recommend it very, very highly. So that is a most unusual miniature masterpiece, which I really hope you've enjoyed. Keep on listening, my friends. Take care.